everybody, I am Jem, this is my creative space, and thank you for joining me today, whether you are a new subscriber or whether you have been following along for some time. I appreciate you joining me again today for another in the Mass Make March 2026 series. Now, I know it's May, not March, but I've been loving this Mass Make series, and I wanted to continue using the Mass Make March hashtag so that everything stays together in one playlist. And if you're keen on the Mass Makes, you can go and check out the other things that I've been doing. So today, as you can see, I've been mass making some pockets. And these kind of came to me the other day when I was playing with an old paper bag, and I was fiddling around and went, gosh, that's, you know what, that's a really easy way to make a pocket. So we're going to do two versions today. We're going to do the version which is made from an old paper bag and some music paper or book page, and we're going to do exactly the same but showing you how to use a scrapbook page or any other printed page. Really, if you've got a nice magazine page, you could do this. All right, so let's put those to the side, and without further ado, we will make a start. So you're going to need a paper bag, and you're going to need one that has the gusset in the side like this. Now these are grocery bags that we get here in New Zealand. So when you go to the supermarket and forget your shopping bag, you have to buy one of these. Now I always harvest the handles off these because they unwind and you get some bits like, let me show you, like this. So when you untwist these, you get lovely usable paper like this. So I always harvest the handles, but today I'm going to be actually using the paper bag. And what we're going to be doing, it's really simple. We're going to be looking at this side gusset here, and we are literally, it's noisy, isn't it? We're literally going to be cutting, struggling to show you. We're literally going to be cutting this side panel off the bag. So let's do that to start with. Now, because this is a mass make, I'm going to do exactly the same with the other side, and that way we'll have two to do. All right, I've gone to a bit of a wider view so that you can actually see better. Does mean you see the mess on my desk, but there you go. All right, so you've got your two sides, your two gusset sides of your brown paper bag. And what we're going to do now is just cut up that centre seam on both of them. All right, so in effect, as you can see, we're going to be making four nice little pockets from the one paper bag. And what we're going to do now is, using the fold of the gusset, we're going to fold that bottom piece over. All of them. So you've got ready-made folds here, and then we're going to fold it up, and if you look at that, you will see that that is in effect the basis of your pocket. Now what I've done with this bit is folded it down to whatever height I think I want. I'm going to do, and I've done varying ones, I think I'm going to do this one this height. So again, we're just going to fold them. So you fold the pocket up and the top down to whatever height you want your finished pocket to be. All right. Again, I'm going to go up. Fold it down. I'm going to do all four of these around about the same height, but as you can see, I'm not measuring them. Perhaps we'll make this one a little bit bigger. There we go. Now, you can leave these pieces folded down for extra strength, or you can cut them off. It doesn't really matter. So the next thing to do is, if you're leaving these pieces, you need to glue those down, and you need to glue the first triangle up like that. So I'll do one to show you. And you only need glue stick here. Right, that's how we're going for light. It's the afternoon and the sun comes in my window from this way in the afternoons. Anyway, let's see how we go. All right, we'll do one to show you. So you glue on that bottom triangle. Glue that up. And if you've decided to leave this flap on, which I often do to give it a little bit extra strength, you just put some glue on there and glue it down. Now at this stage, glue stick is absolutely fine, and you'll see why in a moment. Burnish those 2 folds. That's our next step complete. All right, I'm going to do that with the other 3 as well. All right, I've got all 4 pieces glued down. So I'm going to put 3 to the side for a moment, and we'll demonstrate with this one. Now, this is where you need book page or music paper. And I've got some lovely big music paper here. So I'm just going to grab a sheet of that. Oh, this is a double piece, okay. I'll grab a sheet of that. Now, what we want is, if you can do it, if you can't, you can do this separately, but if you've got a piece of book page big enough, you want a piece that is going to wrap right around your pocket. Okay, now I'm just going to turn this over and have a look. I think I want to glue onto this side, about there. Okay, now again, I have found glue stick perfectly adequate for this. So on this side, so I've flipped this over, you will notice, and on this side I am gluing all the way down, including the triangle pocket. Okay, now I've got, yeah, okay, I want that to be about there. What I'm now going to do is to cut just up where the triangle pocket is, leaving, I don't know, what's that, about ½ centimetre, and the same going down here. Don't worry about this bit for a moment, but what we're going to do now, well, actually what you can do if you want to is come down here and just fold this in, and that gives quite a nice, well, it adds a bit more stability and just gives quite a nice edge. Right, we now want to glue, oh no, hang on, sorry, the other bit is we have to cut across here. So we're cutting a corner out, in effect, and you'll see it will make sense in a minute. I'll show you another one. Now we're going to glue not the pocket, so we're going to glue everything else. And using the edge as a guide, I'm going to flip that over, smooth it down. And again, using the edge you can feel, we're just going to make a fold there, fold there, and we're going to trim away the excess. Alright, so this is going to be a pocket, folded up like this. Now, if you're using book page or music paper, you will, the pocket will be upside down. The print on it will be upside down. I don't mind that because I find that by the time I've decorated, you don't really see it. So you will see I've just folded those edges in over the edge of that pocket. I'm going to trim that little excess bit off. Now I am going to get some slightly stronger glue. We're going to glue up this side of the pocket. There we go, there's a pocket. And in all honesty, that's done. If you see, all you've got to do now is decorate. I'll show you again. Alright, there we go. There's the second one, and you'll see with that one, the pocket is the other way round. Alright, I'm going to go and do those other two. I might see if I've got some book page big enough to do those two, just for a bit of a change. Now, the other thing to point out is, excuse me, you will see the writing on this music paper is upside down on here, as I said. If you don't want that, simply cover this top piece first, leaving the pocket completely. So do the same, just wrap around and cover both sides of this top bit, and then cut the pocket separately the other way up. I might do that with my book page, so I'll put the video on speed again and you'll be able to see what I mean. Alright guys, so all four of those are done. Now, I've actually made a fifth one because I wanted just to show you something and I completely forgot. What you will notice with some of the ones I've made is that they have a little bit of lace along the pocket here. Now, I just wanted to show you something because this is so much easier. If you remember to do this before you stick the oh, my brain's gone. Before you stick the pocket down, If you remember to do this before you stick the pocket down, it's so much easier. And all I'm going to do is to put a little bit of glue along that edge, pop the lace on, and then I just allow that to dry before I stick the pocket up and then trim the lace off. And I allow that to dry just to make sure it doesn't stick. Alright, so there you go guys. Don't forget to put your lace on first before you stick your pockets down, if that's the look you're going for. I'm just going to pull that up a little bit actually, so that we get to see a bit more of it. There we go. Alright, I'll put that to dry. Now the other thing you can do, so I've left those two. I've stitched around these two on the sewing machine. Alright, so that's something else you can do. And again, if you do it before you stick the pocket up, you can stitch across the pocket as well. I completely forgot, but by the time I've inked the edge, I can get a dauber in there to ink the edge. By the time I've inked the edge when I'm decorating, that will be done. Alright, so before we get, I don't want to get bogged down in decorating these. I want to show you something else first, because you can also do this same technique with anything, any pretty paper. So it could be scrapbook paper, it could be a piece of gel print that you've made, it could be an attractive picture from a magazine. You just need to think about whether it's directional or not. So let's grab a piece of scrapbook paper. Alright, and what I've figured out, if you want them this size, and I'll tell you how big that is. This is, it's about 4.5 inches by 3. If that size is okay, you can get 2 of these plus the tags from a sheet, a 12 by 12 sheet. And this is a great way of using up that one-sided paper. So let me show you. I'm going to trim this down. I'll trim it down to 6 inches. I'm just going to work with one of these sheets at the moment, one of these halves. So the first thing you're going to do is to fold it in half. Now if you wanted to score that, you could do. And then you're just going to fold a triangle like that, and that forms your pocket. Alright, so I didn't quite get that in the middle, but that's alright. So let me show you again. You've got your 6 by 12, you're going to fold it in half. So in effect you've got 3 by 12. You're going to fold the bottom corner up to meet that edge, and then you're going to fold up again to make the pocket. All right, now that gets quite thick, so unfold and just cut that triangle off, leaving enough of an edge to turn over and stick down like that, and that will give you a nice pocket edge. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is to glue this together. Now you might be thinking, well, that's a bit of a long funny pocket, Gem, but let me show you, there is method in my madness. a medium weight scrapbook paper, and I found that the glue stick is fine with this. Firmly stuck down. Now that little bit that we've got there, I do tend to use the stronger glue and stick that down. So this is going to come up and form our pocket. So obviously at this stage, if you want to put lace or anything on, now's the time to do so. But the other thing is to think about what length you want your pocket here. Now I took this one, what did I say the measurement was? Was it about 3.5? Oh no, 4, about 4.5 inches. You can do them whatever you like. I'm actually going to follow the pattern on this one, and I'm going to come across on that pattern line there. Now I'm just going to trim here. I just didn't quite get that fold right up to the edge. Now this piece that you've cut off, this I then cut in half again, and you have your two little journaling cards. And if I flip this over, you will see that I've done this as a floating pocket, and the little triangle that I cut off, I've stuck on the back here as another pocket. So they're going to need inking or lace or whatever we want to put on them. So let's do that, and you'll be able to see the whole process. So that piece I cut off is going down like that. There's our two journaling cards which are already stuck together. Now of course you can round the corners, you can do what you like. Let me just grab a piece of lace. I think this will look nice across here. Oh. There we go. So we have a piece across there, and then it didn't get cut very straight, did it? No, that's all right. I'm actually going to ink the edge of this before I stick the lace on. And because we've got this double, it creates a really quite a sturdy little pocket to pop things in. Now when I'm sticking lace on pockets like this, I like to leave a little bit extra each end and then cut it off once the pocket is in place. So whilst that glue is just drying off, I'm going to give these are going to be our little journaling cards or tags. You could turn them into tags even. In fact, we might do one of each. There's my little corner maker. And in terms of making and decorating these, again, it really is, you can do any style, anything you like, really, whatever suits your aesthetic. I've actually been, the ones I did the other day that I showed you earlier, I actually have been trying to use up some other bits and pieces. You know when you buy a pad of scrapbook paper, you quite often get one of those sheets in there where you have things to press out or pieces to cut apart. And I'm not very good at using them. in my big clear up recently, I found that I had a real number of those, and so I've been making an effort to actually cut them apart and press them out and use them. And I'll show you the ones I did in a moment. Okay, so that little journaling card, I'm going to need a piece of plain paper on the back. What have I got here? There's a little bit. Oh, that'll do. Look, it's just the right width. Yes, I'll show you the ones I did in a moment, and you'll see what I mean. So I've been making a real effort to try and use up some of those pieces that have come with the paper pads that I have, and some have come in op shop, you know, packs that I've bought as well. And as I say, for some reason I'm not terribly good at using them. So there we go, little journaling card. We can decorate the front of that. Let's see if our glue has dried. Yep. Right, so we can stick that down. Just hold that for a moment. And again, we can, while we're waiting for that to dry, we can round the corners, ink the edges. I mean, obviously the style of, if you make them with coloured paper or scrapbook paper, the style is going to be dictated somewhat by your paper. But if you're making these ones with music paper or book page, you really can go anyway with them once you've got, you know, and if you've got a stack of bases like this, you can create them to go in any journal that you're that you happen to be making at the time. So I think it's one of those things that is sort of handy to have a pile of, and then you can just pull out and create to suit whatever you're doing. All right, so let's pop that in there. Oh, we need to put our pocket on the back, don't we? Oh, other side. Do you know, I think I might have already inked that actually. I'm rushing. I need to slow down, slow down. All right, let's have a look. We'll flip it over. I'm going to put it on this corner here. There we go. Leave that to dry for a moment. Whilst that's drying, I'll just pop a hole and an eyelet in here. There we go. And obviously that's ready to be decorated up. So out of one, you could pop the tag in the back there actually. So out of one half of a scrapbook page, we've got a tag, a journaling card and a matching pocket. All right, and it's a floating pocket as well. Okay, so really economical way of using up some of your one-sided scrapbook pages, or indeed those that you kind of don't like the other side. Now, the other thing, let me show you, because I've done one other thing with the same method. This is a magazine page, as you can see, not very interesting, just got script on. What I've done with this is I've folded it in half And you will see this one hasn't even been cut out very well because it's got this rough edge here. It doesn't matter. Fold it in half. Grab your trimmer. Tidy up that edge. Oh, and actually we can take that to about 4 inches. There we go. And what this is going to show you is that any long, thin piece of paper you can make these pockets with. I'm going to fold up like that. So you're taking the edge over to make that triangle. Up we go. And there is your pocket. All right, very simple. All you're going to do is open it up, glue it all. And I tell you what, this one I didn't even cut the flap off because it's just magazine page, so it's not very thick. I glued it like that, and then the bottom triangle goes up like that. And depending on what you want to do for decoration, you've got your pocket there. Now, that's not incredibly interesting, is it? But let me show you what I did with it. Here's one I made earlier. This is a piece of napkin. And where's the rest of it? Oh, sorry. Dropped my camera. Here we go. This is the rest of it. So when I was playing with these last night, all I did, and it's exactly the same magazine page, just using the one layer of napkin and some watered down PVA glue, I applied the napkin in exactly the same way as we did that book page. I did do this piece separately because I wanted, I didn't want my dragonfly upside down. And I wanted to be able to choose what was on the pocket. So obviously I looked at where I was positioning the napkin because I had a little bit of wiggle room with that. And I've got that on the front. And then because I did the pocket separately, I was able to choose which piece of the napkin I wanted on the pocket. Now for me, I probably wouldn't worry about stitching or lace on here because it's quite a busy, design. And the lovely thing about using the napkin like this over book page is that you get the text peeking through. Now I'm just putting a little bit of ink along the edge of there before I stick it down, just to give it a little bit of definition. Bit of glue up that edge. There we go. All right, so there's our third option. I'm not going to spend a lot of time decorating these today, but I do very quickly want to show you how I've achieved the inky effect on these. Because I mean, obviously, how you decorate is up to you and what style you're doing, and you know what colours you like, etc., etc. This is, as you can see, just a little bit of plastic sheet. Now, I've got these. I don't know that you can buy these like this anymore. I'm not absolutely sure. They're Tim Holtz Distress Stain, but you can do exactly the same thing with an ink pad. Now I've got, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this one, Vintage Photo. So these ones I've done. This one was with Stormy Sky. This one was a combination of old paper and bundled sage, I think. I've got a couple of different green ones, but there's 2 different green ones on there. Right. So this is all I do. And you know, I'm doing, you could do this on a gel plate. What else have I seen it done? Oh, on like a tile, I think. And I'm just putting a little bit of ink on there, and honestly, I'm using a plastic bag because if you don't have anything else, then this is what you use. I've put a little bit on there. You can add water if you want to, but all I'm going to do, and again, you can do this before you stick the pocket up if you want to. And depending what effect you want, you can just smush it around. There you go. You could add a second layer if you wanted to. What else have we got? This is Victorian Velvet. It's quite an interesting colour. It's a brownie colour again, but it's got more of a red in it. You see, I'm just dipping bits in. And again, you're just getting that background effect so that you can then decorate on top. All right, I will do one more to finish up this ink. Let's do one of these music ones that's already been stitched. There you go. So again, you know, as much or as little as you want, and it gives you a nice basis to start working from. All right, folks, let's put those to dry and put those out the way. The other thing, of course, you can do, if you've got ink sprays, you can spray these as the background as well. And the reason that's just come to me, I have some glimmer mist sprays here. I have all sorts actually. This is quite a nice one. This is a Tattered Angels chalkboard. And the colour is Hot Chocolate. Now, I picked all of these up as a bundle in an op shop. I don't know whether you can still get them, but there are other things that are very similar that you can use. And I know that Tim Holtz does a big range of this type of thing. Let's just spread that out again. These sprays do make a mess, and I'm not very good at remembering to, you know, I get excited about creating. I'm not very good at remembering to protect my work surface and stuff. So you can, excuse me, you can see that's added another layer again. And these kind of have a little bit of glitter in them, which is quite nice when you turn things in the light. As I've got it out, I'll do this one as well. And you can see, depending where you hold it, you can get different effects like that. That's probably just a little bit too much, more than I want here. There we go. Right, we'll put those aside to dry. All right, guys, so we've created 3 different kind of pockets today using exactly the same kind of template or pattern, if you like. Now, of course, these are double-sided floating pockets. There's nothing to say that you can't do these double-sided if you want to. All right, you just need to obviously decorate the back as well as the front when you do the decoration. And the same goes for the napkins. Now my napkin met in the middle there because I'm going to glue it down. If you you could do your napkin wrapped right around as we did the paper, and then you could turn that into a floating pocket as well. So there you go, guys, and let me just give you a quick flick through the ones that I decorated last before I was videoing, just to give you some ideas. There we go, and these are the scrapbooky bits that I was telling you about that I've been trying to finish up. And let me show you. I have a whole little tray of them here, and these are some of those cut apart ones, or we've got some press out ones. That goes, you can see that's from the same set as those. And so I'm going to be using some of these up on these cards. All right, so I'm not going to spend time decorating with you today because, you know, decorating is a very individual thing. You've got the basis now, hopefully, from this video, and you can go off and create to your heart's content. What I will be doing in next week's Mass Make is showing you a really quick and easy Mass Make for journaling cards, which may well we can design to fit into these, and they're going to be kind of matchy-matchy. So that's all for today, folks. Do tune in next week for Mass Make March again in May. And as I say, we'll be doing some journaling cards to fit into these lovely pockets. So I hope that's been fun. I hope it's been interesting. Do please give us a thumbs up if you like the video. I love to hear from you, so feel free to leave a comment below. But for now, thank you for watching. Ka kite anō.